The podcast you are about to listen to is an account of the movies which befell a group of horror fans, in particular, Tara Garwood and her intrepid friend, Matt Lolich. Had they lived very, very long lives, they could not have expected, although they would have wished, to see as much of the mad and macabre as we are to see in those movies. For them, an idyllic summer movie became a nightmare, and they loved it. The movies that they watched were to lead to the creation of one of the most terrifying podcasts in the annals of American history. The Scary Movie Project.
Hey, everybody. This is the Scary Movie Project, the podcast where we talk about scary movies and share more spoilers than there are sharks in the ocean. I'm Tara.
Hello, I'm Matt. And I don't know if you guys knew this, but this year on 4th of July, fishing season is open on you. I don't know if I agree with that tagline, but it is a tagline for one of the great movies of all time, Jaws.
And with us today is actor, director, producer, podcaster, and now published author, Brianne Davis. She just came out with her first book, Secret Life of a Hollywood Sex and Love Addict, which you can get on Amazon. Her favorite movie is Jaws, and her favorite horror movie podcast is The Scary Movie Project.
Yay!
We just made that up for you. So
all true.
I love
All
it.
those things
I
are
love
all
it.
true.
yeah, almost all completely true.
Yes. So
oh my
true.
God, I love it. That's great. I love Jaws. I'm so excited to be here.
Yeah, we're
I've been
so
watching
excited to
that
have you
movie
again.
forever. Yeah,
Yeah, it's pretty great. It's pretty great.
Such a great movie. And this was like, I had seen it when I was young and
Mhm.
been really scared of it and probably didn't even like watch the whole thing. I think I like hid a lot. So this was my first time really watching it as an adult,
Oh
and I
my
loved
goodness. Wow.
it. It's
I
so
watch
good.
it so many. Every time it's on TV, I just put it on and leave it in the background when I'm working or writing. And I watched it since I was 6 years old. I love
It's
it.
just so like
Great.
well written and well acted and smart. Yeah, it's just really good.
I mean, this
So-
was the beginning of what the summer blockbuster, and this like Spielberg's. I mean, this
It
was,
is,
he
yeah.
started it.
Yeah, because Blockbuster summer movies were like the crapola movies before this. And they released it then because they had to push it back, I think, because production was taking too long. And so they had to push back, and it became the first big blockbuster.
Yep.
So, okay, so let's dive in. So
Please.
1975, this
intended.
movie came out.
Mm.
Director, Steven Spielberg.
I've heard of him.
And written by Peter Benchley and Carl Gottlieb, based on the novel by Peter Benchley.
Right.
Mhm.
So, opening credits, guys. Spielberg uses this distorted like audio of squawking birds over the Universal logo,
Mhm.
which is an homage to Alfred Hitchcock's opening for The Birds.
That's great.
So cool. So it did the same thing. And then the music, of course, is composed by John Williams. So we get those radar sounds
Greatest
and then
music
that like
ever.
iconic
Yeah.
dun
Strings are so good.
dun 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 dun, right? Yeah.
Doo-doo.
Yes, you do it better than I do. So we have the titles over this underwater traveling shot, and then we cut to this beach party. It's very chill 70s kind of beach party.
Just hanging out, man.
And this young man and woman like smile at each other.
What's
and
your
they,
name? Chrissy. Where are you going?
Chrissy! Yeah, she's so excited. And they go off for a
Right.
swim, and she strips and beats him to the water
Right.
while he's like struggling to get his clothes off. And we
Yeah.
get our first underneath the water shot of her swimming.
That's the best scene ever.
Mhm.
It's
pretty
so
awesome.
good. She's silhouetted above you. It's
Mhm.
just really,
with
really
her
good.
legs swimming, and you just feel like it's coming. It's like, ah.
Something bad.
Well,
is
and
gonna
I'm
happen.
so glad you said that you feel it because
Mhm.
so the cinematographer actually devised new equipment to facilitate that underwater shooting,
That's dope.
including a rig to keep the camera stable regardless of the tide and the waves,
Oh,
and a
wow.
sealed submersible camera box.
Woo. What do they say? What are two of the things they say never to do when you're shooting footage? Never shoot on a boat and never use like pets or children, right? Or
Never
something?
use pets or
Yes.
children.
Yes.
No animals.
I've
no
done
animals.
both, and it's
Yeah, well,
torture. Absolutely torture.
Of course you've done both.
And of course, the whole thing about this, we can get into it later, is this production was a disaster. Like this was
it
a
was
disaster.
horrible. Yeah, it was horrible. The shark
Everything
kept
went wrong.
breaking. Everything went wrong.
Everything
They
went
thought
Everything
they had a
went
piece
wrong
of
in this.
shit when they were doing it.
Yeah,
They're like, this is a
everything went
piece
wrong.
of shit.
I think they called it flaws instead of jaws on set.
I
that's
don't
fun.
doubt it. That sounds about right.
So we see Chrissy's face as she gets jerked under, and she's like dragged around on, and they apparently had her like attached to these weights in this harness, and they just like jerked her back and forth. And
No, they had ropes around her, and they
Yeah,
jerked her
right?
with ropes.
There you go. Yeah,
Okay.
they
Yes,
jerked
and
her
she
with
was getting
ropes.
whiplash. She said that her back hurt so bad, and that
Oh,
she was
yeah.
I bet
literally
it
people were
did.
pulling her, and that's
They
how they
say
got
it
that
took,
jerky.
They
What's
say
her
it took
face?
3 days to film that sequence. That must have
Jeez,
hurt
are you
so
kidding me?
bad.
Oh,
my
I'm sure she had. I'm sure she had so many bruises because just doing any scene in movies, you get so many bruises. So I can't imagine what her body looked like after.
So
Every
Linda,
time I've done any acting, like on stage or in film, I've hurt myself.
Mm-hmm.
So Linda Blair in Exorcist, when she had that rig, when they were flipping her up and down in the bed, it like jacked her back up for years, she said afterwards.
God,
Oh yeah,
sure.
it's they
Yeah.
because and back then too they have all these rules now, but back then they didn't. It was like the
No.
Wild Wild West. You just get it done.
Rub some dirt
Yeah.
on and get it back out there. You'll feel fine. Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
So
And
the
she
next-
wasn't a star. And she wasn't a star, you guys.
Right,
If
she
you're like
was
a
just
day
like-
player, you're
Right.
like fuck.
Treated, oh yeah, they don't
Yeah.
care. Nope.
especially back then more.
Mhm.
Even, yeah. So in the next morning, Brody, our main character, Sheriff Brody, and his wife wake up. And I love this. The kids are in the backyard, he says. And she says, in Amity, you say yard.
Yeah, and you park the car.
You say
and
yard.
Yeah, that's right. I love that.
And so he gets a call and he heads out in his sheriff's truck. And the young
Past
man,
that really bad swing set that they got hurt on.
Yes.
You guys remember you had swing sets
Uh-huh.
like that back in
Right,
like,
that
the
Oh, mine was all
crappy, like,
mine was all
70s swing
metal,
set.
and if it got hit
Metal
by
and you
struck
get,
by
like, hit.
lightning,
Yeah.
we would have all been dead.
well, and God forbid you should want to like slide down the slide on your swing
Oh.
set and it's
Oh.
hot metal.
yes, 1,000 degrees, and you burn yourself.
No, those swing sets
good old
too,
days.
they have all those those drills or like
Yep.
sharp edges, and I always cut myself. So every
Death
time I see that
traps.
when I watch it, I'm like,
I think it was the swing
damn
set
swing
from.
set.
It was like the swing set from Texas Chainsaw Massacre that they show in that one scene, right? Yeah.
Probably. Anyways.
Probably,
Okay, we
yeah.
talking about this swing
Okay, so-
set. Okay.
So
okay.
swing set. So he drives past the swing set. The young man from the night before is telling Brody the girl must have drowned, because he can't find her. And then the deputy has found her washed up on shore. And we don't see much, just her
hand, right?
arm like
Yes.
sticking out. And I think there's like crabs
Oh,
around
there's
it.
Yeah,
eaten by bugs.
There's crabs. There's
Yep.
like a little
Yeah.
crab crawling on it.
It's pretty awesome.
And I love it. We get back to the office and he's typing up his report, and probable cause of death, he put shark attack. And man, can we talk about how busy this office is? Like constantly his secretary is like in his face, like, what about
Yeah.
this and what about that?
Right.
And his deputy is like, I don't know. It's just like everything
It's
all
like,
the time.
What's him? It's like what's his face from Andy Griffith, right? Sort of kind of reminds you.
Oh
Oh,
yeah.
yeah. His assistant.
Yeah, his deputy. Yeah. So Brody goes and gets supplies and he makes so that they can make signs. And the
Mhm.
deputy pulls up and says, a bunch of kids are doing their swimming badge. Like a bunch of Cub Scouts are doing their swimming badge out at the beach and they can't reach them. So he's like, get the signs up. And he heads out there and he has to take a ferry. And Vaughn, who I think is the mayor.
Oh, he's
Mhm.
such a douchebag.
Okay, he's the mayor. Yeah.
and his suit with his anchors on it, like,
With
oh
his
my god,
anchors.
what?
Oh my God, he's so dorky. It's so cute though.
You want to have a panic on the 4th of July? Yeah.
Yeah, that was a really good impression.
Yeah.
So he gets on the ferry and he basically tells him that you yell shark, we got panic on our hands. And
No,
So-
I mean it's true.
it is true that you're gonna have a panic if you yell
Yes,
shark.
that is
Like
pretty true.
people at a beach are gonna panic.
yeah.
So then like next shot, Brody and his wife and kids are at the beach and he's like nervous about anybody going in and everything. He's watching, keeps seeing things that he thinks are a shark, but none of them actually are a shark. And the guy the guy comes out of the water with his like funny swim cap on and he says, "We all know about you, Chief. You don't go in the water at all, do ya?"
Right.
And of course he replies, "That's
Nice
some bad hat, Harry."
Yeah.
That
Good one.
iconic line. So now someone's dog has disappeared and we start getting underwater
Pivot.
shots again.
Pivot.
Yeah.
Yeah. She's calling the dog, get the underwater shots again. So we know something's coming. And a woman on a float is pulled under and everyone else runs out of the water. And this young boy named Alex is missing. And his
Oh,
mother's
man.
posted, his mother now has posted a reward for anyone who kills the shark.
Ugh.
So did we see
That
the
breaks
scene?
my heart. Having a son now and that scene now when I see it is totally different when I didn't have a child. It is
I'm sure.
heartbreaking.
That scene when he flips
Ugh,
like on the
and his
raft and you
legs
see
his,
like the
Oh yeah, I
dorsal,
missed him flipping over. Yeah.
and you see the tail come up and the blood just flies. Like that's the most violent. Well, no, the Quint scene later,
no.
but it's pretty. It's fairly gruesome to see it.
Yeah.
Like it's just kind of like disturbing. And is that scene too when he sees it, where they have that great, what do they call it, the Zolly shot, where you're zooming
zooms
in
in.
of Brody when he's sitting on
Yes.
the beach? I love
It's
that
it's
shot.
when Brody realizes that he's
And he
been
sits up
shot.
real quick. Yeah.
And so this is actually, it's often called the jaw shot. They're forward tracking and zooming out at the same time.
They use it in Goodfellas
It's
and a
the-
couple. Yeah.
Opposite of the shot in Vertigo
Right.
that was invented by Erman Roberts
There you
for Vertigo.
I love it.
So
It's
that
so
was
cool.
a forward zoom and reverse tracking.
Yeah,
And this
it
is
totally throws your
forward
mind
tracking
off.
and reverse zoom.
I love it. Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. When that kid gets eaten
Mhm.
by a shark, ooh man, that scene is.
It's rough.
yeah.
So then they're in the town hall and Brody tells him he's closing all the beaches and everyone like starts yelling. And then Vaughn is like, "Oh, but only for 24 hours."
It's not long. Only 24. Yeah.
There you go. We got to have Matt do all the Vaughn lines.
Yeah.
I'll do everybody.
So a man scratches his nails down the chalkboard
Oh,
for
boy.
attention.
Oh.
And, we know, okay, it's Quint.
Mhm.
He says he'll get the shark, but it'll be $10K to catch and kill it. For $3K, I'll find it.
He says.
$10K.
But
For that, you get the head, the tail, the whole damn thing.
catch him and kill him for 10. Yeah, hold it. Now, the best thing about that, I don't know if you guys notice, is the crony he's got with him. Like that guy that just is kind of like following him around is awesome.
I
He
didn't
took-
even notice the crony.
Oh,
yeah.
yeah.
He's just like kind of hanging around. He just doesn't say anything. And
Totally
he's just like
missed the
Quint's
crony.
crony. And I don't know what the purpose of him is, but he's hilarious.
So the city councilman says, we'll
Y'all
take it
know-
under
I
advisement.
forgot the great line. And first when he comes and hits the chalkboard, y'all know me. Know what I do for a living.
Oh, yeah. You do that one so good, too. He's so good at the...
I'm here to do-
Voiceover.
I'm here to
Yeah,
do
the
stupid
voiceover.
impressions. That's what they pay me for.
for the impressions. So the city councilman says he'll take it under advisement and Quint leaves. And then we cut to Brody is reading about sharks and his wife Ellen makes
Like
him stop. And
the
I
Time
I
here's
think
the
Life.
I
line
had that
love.
book too. I
Time
think I
Life.
had that
It's like a
book.
Time Life Sharks book or
Mhm.
something, right?
Yeah, and it's like, but it shows attacks and stuff. Like,
Yes,
Yeah,
does.
it
I
shows
want-
attacks and it shows the boat
want this
and
book.
how they
yeah,
can
it's
attack through the boat.
scary.
Yeah, I think I
Yes.
looked at that book in the library a number of times.
That's
I'm
awesome.
I
not kidding.
believe you did. I
Let's see if
believe
can
it.
find- I'm gonna order it off of eBay.
You should.
So his wife makes him stop, and I love it. She says, "Want to get drunk and fool around?" And he says, "Oh yeah."
Yeah, all right.
I just love that one little moment between them. It's so cute. But then one of their sons is out in the new boat that he got for his birthday. And he's sitting in it. Brody makes him get out because, again, he's freaked out about the water and the shark. And we know he doesn't like going in the water. So he's already like nervous about it. So now two fishermen go out to try and catch the shark with a roast, with
His
one of their
wife's-
wives' roast,
his wife's roast. That's right.
and a tire off the pier.
And I'm sure they're drunk.
oh
Oh,
yeah,
Gotta be wasted.
There's no doubt about that.
and that
They've
roast
gotta
was
be
probably frozen. I highly doubt it smelled really great for the shark to smell because usually it's the
Yeah, unless
blood,
she
right?
cooked it, in
Yeah.
which case she would be even madder.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but I'm thinking like the blood is what sharks can
That's true.
sense. So would the roast even really work?
Maybe it was
I
just
don't know.
refrigerated.
I would think that it's just an eating machine. I mean, that's a line from the movie too, right? It's an eating machine. All it does is swim.
I feel
and
like
and
he
make
wants
baby
to,
sharks.
like-
make babies.
Like
Yeah,
a nice
It's a
room
perfect
temp.
filling machine.
A room temp roast.
A nice room temp roast for the shark.
That's right.
So they're out trying to catch the shark off the pier, and the shark comes for the roast. And of course, instead of being caught on their chain, it just pulls the whole damn pier apart.
I love it. Yeah.
One of the guys falls in the water,
awesome.
and he just barely gets out and back onto the pier before the shark gets him.
So scary.
It's really tense. Like, it's a
very
moment.
tense. And I've seen it.
moment.
Even every time you see it, you're still like, get on the pier, get your little boots up
Oh
there. He's like trying to crawl up. At the
it's almost has his foot, and you're like, oh God, that's gonna be bad.
Right.
So then Brody's trying to corral all the people the next day who are out trying to catch the shark, right? They're all like going out in their boats and like everybody's gonna be the one who catches the shark. They're fighting over who gets out of who gets unhitched from the pier first and everything.
Could you imagine that? Could you imagine? But that's such a great scene. It just shows like humanity at its like stupidest, basically.
Like, I feel like we've seen that lately.
Go out there and let's do whatever the hell we want. Yeah, I thought that was a perfect
shark.
That was a perfect slice of life. Like, let's just go out there and we're just gonna be bounty hunters.
Right. Oh my God. So now this newcomer shows up. Matt Hooper from the Oceanographic Institute up the way. And Brody is called to ask them to send someone. But at first he like doesn't know who he is. So he's like kind of ignoring him. And then he finally gets his attention. And they show Hooper the remains of the first victim, the Chrissy.
Mm-hmm.
And he does an autopsy and he says, this was no boating accident.
Can I do it? Because I
do it.
This is a boating accident. This wasn't Jack the Ripper. It was a shark. And that's always this. I've seen this movie so many times. This is pathetic. That's when they always cut to commercial too, right? When
oh my God! Say that. It's so annoying when they cut to commercial.
Wasn't a boating accident. Wasn't Jack the Ripper yet. It was a shark.
And then they cut straight to Mikey likes it.
Right, probably.
Oh my God, so annoying. I hate those commercial breaks. Are the worst.
Yeah.
I miss them. No, I don't. Not at all.
I don't.
Not at all.
But that shows how often I've seen it.
So one of the groups has now caught a shark, and everyone's really excited. And Hooper tells them, "Yeah, well, it's a tiger shark."
Tiger shark.
Okay.
Just so you know, tiger sharks are more dangerous than great whites.
Oh, yeah, they're aggressive as all get out. Heck yeah.
In real life, great whites aren't very aggressive at all, right?
No, they're not. But tiger shark will mess you up. They are like no joke. They're like the scary ones of all the sharks.
So now we have to mention this might be the best line in the movie. I know this is, and if my friend Jim is listening, he'll love this because that scene when they go to that guy and he's out there and we caught a shark. Well, what kind of shark is it? Oh, they tell him it's a tiger shark.
Oh, what?
Give that man an Oscar.
So he tells him it's a tiger shark, which now we know is a very dangerous shark.
Mm-hmm.
And it may not be the shark. And he says the bite radius is different from the wounds on the victim. So he wants to cut it open and see what it's eaten in the last 24 hours so they could be sure. Ew. Just ew.
Yeah, that's gross.
So here's a little trivia. That shark that they kill and have on the dock there was a real shark that was killed in Florida since there wasn't a big enough one in Martha's Vineyard area. So by the time it was there and ready for filming, it was like decomposing and it smelled really bad.
So bad.
Oh yeah.
And since it was hanging from its tail, this is like grosser than anything in the movie. Okay, since it was hanging by its tail, its internal organs broke loose and they piled up in the back of its throat. And so it was even worse, like smelling for everyone who had to be around it.
I would not want to be the PA that had to be in charge of that. Woo!
Oh my, no. And how long you'd have to shoot that scene to get all those people in the right place. Everybody so many people. The right thing. That would have taken forever. I can't imagine how smelly it was.
That would have been like that bit of scene with the shark probably would have been easily a full day, if not two.
Oh, man.
Oh, of course. Yeah. With all those extras, it would have been brutal. Definitely a whole day. Definitely a whole day.
Definitely a whole day. So now Alex's mom walks up and she just smacks the shit out of Brody.
Sure does.
Because she just found out about the girl who died before her son got eaten. And she gives this, really lovely speech. And she's apparently just a local actor they hired. Like, she was not some big Hollywood name. She was a local actor who they hired. Yeah, local actors.
Do it. Yeah.
Do it, local actors.
She's memorable for sure.
She was probably like SAG Boston or something.
Right.
But so she gives this great speech and basically just tells him off because she's like, you knew. Like, you already knew there was a shark. And when she walks away, the mayor says, I'm sorry, she's wrong. And he just says, Brody just says, no, she's not.
Yeah.
Like, and it's such a good moment, like where he's taking that responsibility. You're like, oh, ooh, that hurts. Like, because he can't even be mad at her. He just knows that he really fucked up.
Right.
And so Roy Scheider said in an interview that in that scene where Mrs. Kintner smacks him, she couldn't fake a slap. So she was actually hitting him every time.
I love those stories. Yeah.
Just hauling off and smacking him.
That happens a lot. Right. That happens a lot because you don't get the full, or you have to do like the swipe across the face and the other person.
Yeah.
To, like, do it.
You have to like exactly time it. And then you have to like fake the nap. But they did 17 takes.
Oh,
wow. I'm not surprised. Well,
so yeah. Poor guy, that must have hurt.
Of him to allow her to do that, because actually a lot of the lead actors can say no and
would just be like,
no, or they do it once and then they just immediately cut to her. So that was nice of him.
Yeah, no, he did all the takes.
Taking one for the team right there. That's for sure. Yeah,
he took it. That would hurt. Oof. So then we're at dinner with Brody, and he has the sweetest little moment with his youngest son. Do you remember this? Where
little
he
like the best moment. Yeah, they're
making faces at each other.
I love that.
Yeah. And his son is copying his faces, and then he's like, give me a kiss. And his son's like, why? And he goes, because I need one. And his son just gives him this little kiss. Oh, it's the sweetest moment.
Yeah, that's good. I like that.
Yeah, my husband and son had him.
Gets me.
Yeah, my husband, that actually happens. My son copies my husband sometimes. So it's like a real moment that has happened. So
that's so cute. So then they're eating dinner. Hooper shows up with 2 bottles of wine, a red and a white.
And he starts eating you gonna finish that? And he starts eating their food.
Is anyone eating this? He just takes Brody's half-finished food, starts eating it. And then Brody uncorks one of the wines and pours himself like a regular glass of
Maybe
it. Maybe
you want to let that
glass.
breathe. Or not.
European pour. And they definitely aren't sober at the end of that. And I love that line he has in it where he says, well, she asks him, can you do that? And he says, I can do anything I want. I'm chief of police.
Right? Yeah, I'm chief of police. So Hooper tells them this charming story though about why he studies sharks. And he tells them that he knows they caught a shark, but not the shark. And Brody asks Hooper about rogue sharks. Right. And so then he tells Hooper, all right, we'll go down and we'll cut the shark that was caught open. Fine. So the 2 of them go down there and they cut open the shark, and like Hooper's rooting around in it like a dumpster. Like he's just in there, like up to his shoulders practically.
So gross.
And they pull out some fish, a can, a Louisiana license.
I was going to say that's always a good always a good trivia question for people to ask what state the license plate is from.
Louisiana. He says, "Oh, this shark's been doing some traveling or something like that." But they find no bodies, no body parts. So this is not the shark.
Dun dun dun.
Yeah, dun dun dun. Exactly. So they go out on a boat to track the shark right away, even though Brody's not happy about it.
What is the name of the boat?
I don't know, but it's a beautiful
boat. This isn't that boat yet, I don't think.
You're talking. Oh, sorry, you're right. Wrong scene.
This isn't that boat yet. First, it's just Hooper and Brody.
That thing is awesome. Yes.
Yeah, they go out on like a sailboat or something, and they're like looking for it. And there's this great line where Hooper tells Brody, well, it doesn't make much sense for a guy who's afraid of water to live on an island. And Brody says, it's only an island if you look at it from the water.
Right. There you go.
Which another line. This movie
great
is
line.
full of really great spot on
quotable
lines.
Forever. Right.
So they see something on the radar and they use the spotlight to look for it. And they find Ben Gardner, who is
old Ben Gardner.
That's the
Ben
boat.
Gardner.
That's the cool boat with the lights on the bottom. That's the boat I'm talking about.
Yeah, they find his boat. It's all banged up. And Hooper gets his dive gear on and he goes down to investigate. And under the boat, do you want to tell it, Brianne?
Yeah, in the boat, he pulls out a tooth. And every time I see that tooth, I'm like, I want that tooth. And then Ben Gardner's head pops out of the hole. And he drops the tooth every time he drops the tooth. And I'm so upset.
He drops it. I forgot about that. He does.
Drop the tooth.
Because it comes back later where they're like, have you got the tooth? And he's like, I dropped it.
To that horrible mayor guy. I'm like,
I would have too. That scene is scary when it's, hey, you're like, oh, I mean, that scene gets me to this day when I watch it. Yes.
So get this, that scene was not originally scripted. Okay. Steven Spielberg, he even says this. He says he got greedy after he saw the preview audience's reaction to the scene where the shark jumps out behind Brody's head, like later on in the movie. And he just wanted one more scare.
Okay.
So he reshot the scene at Ben Gardner's boat to get the head. And he said, then after he reshot that and added it in, that got the biggest scream. And then the next reaction, the appearance of the shark, only got half as much reaction as it used to. And he said it taught him a lesson that a movie can only have one major scare moment because afterwards the audience will be on guard against the film.
If that's what Steven Spielberg says, I'll trust him because he's pretty good at what he does. So.
I'm surprised he didn't then take it out, but I guess he liked it.
I guess once they shot it, it was in, like, I don't know. But he left it. So they tell Vaughn he can't open the beaches. There's a great white shark that made Amityville waters its hunting ground. And Hooper tells Vaughn that he pulled the white tooth out of the boat. And Vaughn says, well, where is it? And he says, I dropped it. And then Vaughn says, well, those beaches will be open this weekend for the 4th of July.
I love that billboard that they're standing there in that scene.
Vandalism.
And
vandalism.
And then Hooper tells him, look at that. Those proportions are accurate.
But he's like, we need to hang those busters from their Buster Browns. So
So people start arriving for the weekend, and Brody and Hooper are trying to make calls and deal with the shark and everything. And then Vaughn goes to a friend who's like out at the beach as all these people are like,
please go get in the water.
I knocked my thing. Or walla-wallaing around. He's like, please go in the water.
Very nice.
And they're so scared. His wife and his wife and his kids are like warily treading out into the ocean. You can see
a look on their face of like just terror, right?
Yeah. But it breaks the seal. Everybody just starts swimming. And then we get underwater shots again.
Love it.
So someone sees the shark and screams, and a lifeguard blows her whistle, and there's a stampede, and everybody's out of the water. And these two kids pop up from under a shark fin with like rifles in their
guns
faces.
Pointed at them, yes.
Right, with guns pointed at them off like a Coast Guard boat or something.
Pants, they're so scared, yes.
Yeah,
how it was all a hoax. That it was two kids is beyond me. Just so
right, I know.
You know,
but anyways,
they must have not gotten too close or something.
I don't know.
But they seemed like they got right in there among everybody. I don't know.
Right.
People are dumb.
Yes.
People are dumb. Then as now.
Now.
So then a girl starts yelling, there's a shark in the pond.
There's a shark in the pond by the boat. Yeah.
In the estuary. And that's where Brody had told his kids to take their boat out because he thought it'd be safer.
He starts trucking. Oh man, he's
in the sand. Can you imagine? That was so hard running like that.
Oh my God. Even walking in the sand is kind of hard.
Yeah.
And he's
like boots and everything on.
Yeah.
Like chucking across the sand.
Yeah. And so another man who's in a boat in the estuary gets knocked over and eaten by the shark, or his leg eaten.
No, he's in there.
No, his leg falls off.
Dude is in there and he's going, you kids okay in there? And then he falls over and then you see the shark come and it just, I love that scene. Love it.
And the older son, Michael, almost gets eaten, but the shark like swerves around him and keeps going.
Isn't that camera shot great? Like zips by him real fast. Love that. Oh yeah.
But it brushes his side. So he's like it like brushes his side, doesn't it?
I think so, or if not, it comes really damn close.
Yeah.
Too close. Yeah. Too close.
All right. So I'll ask you guys this. Do you know what they named the shark?
Bruce.
You knew it, yay! I knew you guys would. Do you know why?
It was named after Spielberg's lawyer.
That's correct.
Oh, I didn't know that. There you go. Ding, ding.
That's
he
correct. And you both did great, though.
Thanks.
I have way too much useless information.
So Spielberg took a few friends, including George Lucas, to the effects shop. You guys know the story, I'm sure.
Yeah.
To see Bruce. And Lucas like stuck his head in its mouth, and the other guy snuck over to the controls and closed it on him.
Nice.
And he got stuck for a long time.
Yeah, I'd be upset.
And when they
about that.
finally got him out, they all like ran away because they were afraid they damaged the shark. They didn't want to get caught.
Yeah, I probably would have been angry.
So now, after all this, Brody makes Vaughn sign a voucher so he can hire Quint to catch the shark. Brody and Hooper go to hire him, and Hooper says he'll go too. And I love this. Quint gives him a lot of crap. He doesn't want him to go. And then because he says, I'm the captain. I'm the first mate. I'm the this, I'm the that, I'm everything. And then he says, I'll take him for ballast, chief. And Brody says, you got him.
Right. Yep. Yeah, chief, that is.
Yeah, I'll take him for ballast, chief. You got him. So as they get ready to leave, Quint brings out his shark cage and he's putting it away. Yeah. And Brody is going to, and Ellen is really worried. She says, what am I going to tell the kids? And he says, tell them I'm going fishing. And this is when we get the boat. What's the boat named?
The Orca.
Oh, I forgot.
There you go. The Orca, also killer whale, right? Which is a known enemy of the shark.
They have been
and
known
the
to kill them,
only
that's right.
predator, the only known predator of the great white.
That's right.
We don't know. There might be sea monsters that are predators of the great
That's
white,
true.
but it's the only known predator of the great white.
This is true.
So they throw out a bunch of chum and they wait, and then they've got a bite on their they have like a huge fishing rod, like
Oh my God.
piano wire or something.
It has the freaking belt loop to strap yourself into it.
Yeah. He
Yes.
straps himself into a huge harness. Quint does,
The
and they
waist.
and he's struggling with the line. And he says he's down under the boat, and Hooper's
Damn smart fish went under the boat.
you can both do it. I can't do it. And Hooper says it's not a shark, and then they lose it. And they like argue about it being a shark. And we don't really ever find out if it was the shark or not, I don't think.
I think it was. I think
it was
a tease of the shark. Yeah, to cut that wire. That had to be.
It was
wire.
screwing with them.
Right.
I believe
Yeah.
it. That shark is scary smart.
Sneaky.
He's a
He's like a
troublemaker.
jokester.
He
He's a
is.
sneaky shark.
Oh, Bruce.
Oh, Bruce, you
Bruce.
sneakster.
You
So later, Quint tells Brody to drop some chum again. So as he does, this is when the shark comes up almost in his face.
So I would just want my quick note on that. That's where he tells, why don't you go chum the water there, chief? And I'll chum. And he's there smoking a
Why do I
cigarette.
have
You
to
want,
chum it?
yeah, right. Why don't you chum some of this shit for a while? And then that's the part where the genius of the movie, we have not really seen this shark yet. We're about halfway in.
Yep.
And then when that thing comes up and the audience sees it, but Brody has his back and doesn't see it. So it's this kind of mix. And you go, oh my God.
Yeah.
It's huge.
Look at this thing. Yes.
It's huge. So the shark comes up. Brody sees it. He backs into the cabin.
Boom, he just like, oh my God. Yeah.
Well, he
And he
just
tells
slowly
Quint
backed into the cabin, nothing on his
Yes.
face. He doesn't even say anything.
Yeah, he's
He's,
just
like,
like
frozen.
backing in. And he
Famous
says
line.
to Quint the famous line.
Yeah.
I'll let you do it.
We're gonna need a bigger boat.
There you go.
Yeah,
And
I
he
said
says
it
first.
first.
A bigger
over and over and over again. Well, you're gonna need a bigger boat, right? We got to get a bigger boat, right?
And
We
that
gotta call it in. We
line.
gotta go back in and get it.
Yeah, we got called in. Call the
Right.
Coast Guard. That line apparently was ad-libbed.
So there is a production company. I can't remember for the life of me the movies I've seen called A Bigger Boat Productions, and they've made some movies, I think, and that's where they got.
Well,
the
there's
name from.
also one called Bad Hat Harry.
Oh,
Oh,
nice.
really? Wow. I
Mhm.
didn't
I like
know
that.
Yeah, so I guess this movie has two production companies named for its quotes.
Yep.
So the shark, it heads straight past the boat and it starts like circling it. And Quint gets his harpoon, and they've got these big those big barrels, like floaty barrels.
Yep.
And so he gets his harpoon, and while they're like dealing with the shark, Ellen calls. Brody's wife calls, and Quint tells her they're just fishing. They haven't seen anything yet.
Calls us right past. I'll be home in
Yeah,
time
Being
for
home
dinner.
for time for dinner.
Yeah,
be
being
home
home
in time for
for
dinner.
And and when Miss Brody, when she's trying to contact him on the Orca, the voice on Quint's Marine Radio, like as she's trying to contact them, is Steven Spielberg. That's his cameo.
I like it. Oh, don't forget, speaking of cameos, there's that one quick scene where the reporter's on the beach earlier.
Yeah, that's the writer.
That's
oh,
Peter
yeah.
Benchley.
That's the writer. Yeah.
That's Peter Benchley. Yep, very good.
So then they put this beeping, flashing tracker on a floaty barrel, and they shoot the shark with the harpoon attached to it. And it like comes off and he drags it under, and then they wait.
Yeah, those things are hard to drag under. It's
not if you're a 7,000-ton shark.
Yeah, like they're trying to keep the shark up so they can get it, but it just dives under.
It sure does.
So then they have to wait for a while, and while they're waiting, they're drinking, and Quentin Hooper are actually like comparing scars and bonding.
This is my favorite scene ever.
It's everyone's,
favorite scene.
So I don't know if you guys know this, but so they're like comparing their scars, and at one point, like Roy Scheider, Brody lifts his shirt up to show his appendix incision.
His appendectomy.
It's a real scar. That's his.
Oh, that's cool. Okay.
From his appendectomy. So Quint has a scar that Hooper asked about. That's from where he had a tattoo removed of the USS Indianapolis, and he has this beautiful speech about
pounding and hollering and pounding and hollering, and that's when they came to get me at the last minute, and I was gonna drop the bomb.
Yeah, so it's about them being attacked by the Japanese, and then sharks eating a bunch of them, and he talks about
this is all a true story. This really happened. People were in the water for days, and they were eaten.
Apparently, they may have played up the shark bit a little much.
Well,
really?
Well, it happened. This was true.
But
it's terrible.
So that monologue,
amazing scene.
So Robert Shaw was apparently a really big drinker.
Oh yeah. Well, you could tell. I mean, come on.
Right.
Yeah.
And he drank to do this scene because he thought, I'm supposed to be intoxicated when I tell this story. So he got
a lot of actors do that too.
Well,
if it works,
they couldn't use anything that they shot that whole night
because he was so drunk.
That's awesome.
So later that night, he felt bad and he called Steven Spielberg and said, "Can I please have another try?" And that next day of shooting, he did it in one take.
Oh, dude, it's
great. Of course
great.
he did. He's an amazing actor.
If you get a chance, Google that scene and really get into each shot and how they framed it all and everything. It's really very well done.
It's really, I mean, the whole movie is the shots are just, it's very well crafted. Mm-hmm. So they start singing and the floaty barrel shows up, but they don't notice because they're singing. They don't notice that the floaty barrel showed up though because they're singing. They don't hear it beeping.
What do they toast to?
Their legs.
Their legs, that's right.
And bow-legged women.
Yeah. But they first toasted the leg. Toasted your leg. I
toasted yours.
Your leg. Yeah.
Yeah, they toast to each other's legs.
Oh my God.
And then to bow-legged women. Yes. So they don't notice that the shark is back until the ship is being rammed.
Yeah.
Damn stupid. Yeah, was the fish went under the boat again?
Quint starts shooting at it, and just like that, it's gone.
Quint, you can't stop. Stop shooting at it.
And so you guys know there were 3 Bruces too, right?
Yes.
There were a bunch. Yeah, that's right.
So there was a right side Bruce, a left side Bruce, and then like a fully skinned one. And each one of them cost about $250,000.
I'm sure it did.
Which was more then than it is now, even.
Wow.
I believe it.
So the next morning they're working on the boat. The shark comes back. Brody calls the Coast Guard or goes to call the Coast Guard, and Quint smashes the radio. So now they have no way.
Smashes it, which is the stupidest thing I've ever heard. Like
but
that pisses me off. I know, but come on, you don't do that.
He's hell bent on catching this thing, and he's not going to let anything stop him.
But so they get another barrel on him. They get a second barrel on him.
Doesn't he go down with 3?
It ends up being 3. And the shark is like chewing through the lines, connecting it to the barrel. It's the whole thing's insane.
There's a great scene in the middle of that too, I think, or maybe a day before when they see the shark really for the first, and it swims by, and Hooper's like, "Oh, it's got to be 20 feet," and Quint says 25, 3 tons of them.
So they're like trying to drag it back towards land, and it starts dragging the boat around, and they have to chop the line. So now the barrels aren't attached to the boat anymore, so they can't drag it anymore. And the shark comes back and rams the boat some more and starts chasing them. And then the engine's already damaged from it ramming before, and
in the water.
Yeah, it's done.
Yeah, and Quip pushes it, and so it starts smoking, and that's like now they're stuck in the middle of the ocean in a dead boat, right?
Now I bet you wish you had that radio.
Drunken fool.
So now they put on Hooper's shark cage so they can try to stab the shark in the mouth.
No way.
I want to go on a shark.
He's got like
you're
he's
insane.
got something
you're
to like.
crazy.
Oh my God, no.
Never.
I totally
ever,
do. After
ever.
seeing that, I still want to do it. Like I've always wanted to.
I'm terrified of large bodies of water. There's no way.
So he gets in this cage and they send him down, and the shark heads for him immediately, and then it swims past him, comes at him from behind. He drops the big like pokey thing. He still has the little needle.
Pokey thing. Yeah.
Well, he still has the littler needle to like jab it in the mouth where he had, because he couldn't get it through the skin.
Right.
And it breaks the cage, and he tries to stab with the little needle, but he ends up escaping, getting out, and hiding under a rock. And so when Quint and Brody pull the cage up, it's empty.
Trash.
But he was supposed to die, just so you know.
Yes, I knew that.
Yes, he was supposed to die, but they wanted at the end for him to come back.
Wow.
Yeah,
he was supposed to die.
Okay.
Yeah, and so apparently they did that. So they had like two shark photographers, Ron Taylor and Valerie Taylor, like shoot a lot of that footage. Okay. And they constructed, because the great white sharks wouldn't be as big as the one in the movie, they constructed a smaller cage, and they would either have like a mannequin or a little person in it.
Oh, really? I didn't know that. Why is that making me laugh? But it's making me laugh.
I mean, makes sense, I guess, to do it, right?
Like in Alien, when they used the kids. In Alien, they used the kids to make the planet look bigger and more imposing.
Right, that's what I meant. Like, yeah, you have like a kid or someone to do it, I guess. So yeah, like for perspective or whatever, I guess. But
yeah,
I don't know. They wouldn't have done it this way now, I doubt. But
then the shark jumps partway on the boat and it eats Quint.
Okay, so this scene. So I've seen this movie a billion times. This is my favorite scene. But when you see the shark on, like, it gets bigger every time I see the movie. Like, how is it possible to be this big? This thing is like 50 feet long. There's no way.
Yeah. It's huge. It's huge.
But he belly flops right on the.
He
comes through. He comes.
Oh, I love it.
He comes through like the window or something. It tries to get Brody in the cabin. It gets all the way up on the shark, and then it like tries to get Brody in the cabin. And he throws a CO2 canister in its mouth, and it goes away for the moment. Then he climbs the mast and he stabs the shark when it comes after him, because the boat is now like half submerged.
Yes.
Well, because
so he's like up in the mast.
Sharks in the nose.
In the nose.
Punch
to
him in the
make
nose.
him run away. Yeah.
That's where all their
but not this shark.
So he's got his pistol, and he tries to shoot the tank, and he keeps shooting, and he finally manages it, and the shark just goes.
What is the line he says right before he fires for the last time, though?
Die, you son of a bitch.
Smile, you son of a bitch.
Smile, you son of a bitch. And so the shark just goes boom, and he completely blows up.
Yep, I love it.
And that's when Hooper resurfaces, and he swims to Brody, and they both just start laughing.
Well, I love the line when he asked him, he says, Hooper says, Quint, like asking, and Brody just shakes his head and he goes, no.
No. Yeah.
But I always think in that moment, if you're surrounded by a bunch of shark guts, you better start moving fast because
more sharks are coming.
Or would it be like in like
I'm like, let's get moving, people. No talking. Let's go.
We don't have time to play. Let's go.
I mean, you would think so.
So then they use the barrels to swim back to shore, and that's
of course, because that's what you think of.
The nice music is playing, and the seagulls are out. I mean, everyone's happy now, and we're safe.
Do you know how tired they were? Probably.
Oh my God. They have to swim for so long in that scene.
So long.
Dude.
So like they swim, because you see them get almost all the way into the beach. Like,
yes.
Oh yeah.
It's a really long shot.
Those poor extras. They were so tired, probably.
Yeah. It was probably stuntmen, so they were in like all better shape and stuff.
Probably.
But still, I mean, even if real life, if they swam from where they were all the way, that's a long time. That's a long time, people. It would be dark.
You got to go at the angle because you got to beat out the current also, right? So
I think so. So okay, so I have a trivia now that we're done with the movie. I have a trivia that I don't think either of you is going to know.
I'll give it a shot.
Okay.
I'm ready.
Have you guys heard of the Lady of the Dunes?
I feel like I've heard of this, but I can't tell you what it means.
No. So on July 26th, 1974, a 9-year-old girl was walking her dog and she found the decomposing body of an unidentified woman in the Race Point Dunes of Provincetown, Massachusetts.
Provincetown. P-Town. I love P-Town. It's amazing.
They believe that this young woman may have been an extra in Jaws.
No kidding.
There are like shots where people are like, I think that's her.
I did not know this.
Interesting.
That's a great piece of trivia. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Yes, I didn't know that either. Interesting.
Thank you for making us smarter.
There you go. I got one. And
Yay.
thank you to friend of the show, Sarah, for sharing that one with me. I got it from Sarah. I can't take full credit. But she said, I bet you'll get Matt with this one. And I was like, you know what? I just might.
You did. You sure did. You got me. That's awesome. Good
So all right. So what do we think? Do we love this movie?
duh.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously.
I think we just love it.
I remember I had this obsession. Well, I've always loved it, but I had this obsession like in the summer of 2000, maybe it was. I'm dating myself here. They re-released the special edition on VHS. Sorry, guys. But I remember buying it. And like at that time, there were a lot of shark attacks happening like on the East Coast also. And I just remember watching Jaws like 8 times over a span of like 12 weeks. I swear to God, like every other week I was watching Jaws. I could just watch it over and over again. Yeah, it's Spielberg. I mean, it's the first summer blockbuster. It's all these great things put together. It's the story of, like Captain Ahab. That's Quint. He's hunting, not the whale, but he's hunting the shark this time. It's just
okay.
Like, I love it.
So next question.
Yes.
Is it actually a horror movie?
Yeah, that's a great question to ask.
Yes,
And
I think it's a horror movie.
I've never thought of it. Right.
There's blood. There's a monster. There's someone that's killing, aka Bruce. It is a horror movie.
I've never thought of it otherwise.
I think that's a good point. It was brought up to me, is it really a horror movie? And I was like, I mean, yeah. And then I was like, well,
no, it is
also kind of an adventure, like a sailing adventure.
Adventure? I would never say it was an adventure. I would say,
it's a hardcore one, a thriller. I would say that.
It's rated PG. How about that?
Yeah, but you can have a horror that's still PG.
No, that's fine. I'm just saying it was just kind of funny how ratings, that was just a different system rating at the time. It's just interesting now to look at it, I guess.
Yeah, so, it's a horror. It's a horror.
I think so.
Okay, so we'll say it's a horror. It's a horror film. That's why we're reviewing it.
And it scares you. You jump. You're surprised.
And also,
you're waiting for the attacks. You have the suspense.
Yeah.
It's a horror.
You look at go Google any top 10 horror movie lists, it's in the top 3 of any of those lists.
That's true. So. And we're reviewing it, so it must be a horror film.
I mean, yeah, you guys are like the pinnacle of what's horror.
We are the arbiters of horror.
I guess. Well, you know what? You can call it whatever the heck you want. It's awesome. How about that?
It is awesome.
It's great. It's a great movie. It's probably one of my top movies, like top 3. Like I love that movie.
There are a couple sequels, whatever. And nowadays there's tons of like shark movies. But for me, like this is it. Like I really don't give a crap about any other ones. This is the shark movie. This is it.
Oh, I'll watch any shark movie. I literally will watch all the horrible, like Meg was on and my husband's like, what are you watching? I was like, it has a shark in it. Leave me alone.
Sharknado.
And I haven't watched any of the other ones.
They're terrible. I've watched all the Jawses. I've watched them so many times. 1, 2, or
Jaws?
2, 3, and 4.
I've seen part
3D?
of 2.
I've seen all of them.
Brianne knows this one. Remember Jaws 3D at the end when it slowly like computerized comes in and like, smashes it so bad.
Smashes the glass. You're like, please. But I'll watch any of them. If they are on or any shark movie is on, I will watch any of them.
That's a great point.
That person.
If it has a shark, I will tune in. Yes.
Yeah, me too.
That's true.
Yeah.
So Brianne.
Yes.
Tell us where the people can find more of you.
Oh my God, that is the best question all night.
There you go.
Please come find me on Instagram at the Brianne Davis, at secretlifenovel.com or worldwide, wherever you want it. I just finished the Audible, or come to Secret Life Podcast where we tell people's secrets and it's juicy and it's kind of your own like human horror. Where we go through like emotional horror and get to the other side of like hope and serenity and peace.
I like that. So for us, next up on the podcast is You're Next. So be looking for that.
My friend AJ's in it. AJ.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he's
I
like my
love that
brother.
movie. I love that movie.
Haven't seen it.
It's
So,
My
so
bro. He's
good.
like
I'm
we
looking
did
forward.
Synchronicity and Among Friends together. I love that.
Oh,
movie.
that's
awesome.
oh, I love that movie. Anyways, so guys, please remember to subscribe, follow us on the podcast, rate and review us on iTunes, wherever you're listening, Spotify, Stitcher, wherever it is, so that more people can find us. And don't forget to send us your movie suggestions, your thoughts on the movies we've watched so far, really pretty much anything you want to tell us at thescarymovieproject@gmail.com. And you can follow us on Facebook and Instagram too at The Scary Movie Project. Peace out.
Don't swim after dark.
The Scary Movie Project podcast is produced by Tara Garwood and Matt Lolich. Learn more at thescarymovieproject.com.